Hi, it's Justin Shore from Chronicles of EMS with another 60-second life-saving tip. Today we're going to talk about being out on the town. You've decided to go out of town, but what if something goes wrong? You need to be prepared. We're going to start by taking out your healthcare coverage card. Turn it over. On the back there's an 800 toll-free number on where to go in case you're injured outside of your service area. Call them now and tell them where you're going. They'll tell you what hospital you should be transported to. Keep that in mind. When you check in at your hotel, right there on the counter, they're going to have business cards. Grab one. On the back of it, write down that hospital name. Not only can you show that to cab drivers or anybody else in the area, but also to rescuers in case you forget the name of the hospital, in case you need to be transported. Keep a list of your medications and known allergies right with your driver's license, exactly where rescuers are going to be looking for it. And also, change your home phone number in your phone to the name ICE in case of emergency, so we can call them and find out more about you if we have to. Until next time, this is Justin Shore with a 60-second life-saving tip. Real quick, get the formalities out of the way. This is Chronicles of EMS, A Seat at the Table, Season 1, Episode 2, The Chronicles Effect. At the table, Justin Shore,
Mark Glencourse,
Natalie Quibido.
And Jim Brassel.
Quibido, not spelled like it sounds.
Not at all.
So, Natalie, you traveled how far?
I don't know, 2,000 miles-ish.
From Louisiana to San
Southwest
Francisco
Louisiana, yes.
to watch a 20-minute web show.
I did indeed.
Why?
Because I'm insane. Or just, I think it has great significance to our industry. I think there's potential here, and I see it, and I want to be a part of it. And that's basically everything I've thought since the beginning. You know, when back in the day, like in 1969, when people went to the Lincoln Memorial Steps and heard Martin Luther King speak, I'm sure they didn't walk away with, I had a dream. They didn't think it'd be part of history. This is, to me, this is history. Like, this is the next big thing. And I want to be able to say to my kids, like, I was there. I was in San Francisco when we aired this episode. Basically.
I don't even know what to say to that. Now, do you think that a lot of younger professionals in this business feel the same way, or do you think that they maybe see us as just trying to capitalize on an opportunity? Do you think that other people feel the same way you do, that we're sincere about what we're trying to do with this show, with the Chronicles of EMS?
I hope they do. I think it goes both ways. I think there are people in my generation who are in this just for a job, and there are people like me, and this is just a passion. And we need to find the crossover between the people who are passionate and the people who is a job, and we need to find a way to meet in the middle and say, let's bridge this gap, and it doesn't have to just be a job.
Yeah, but we have to go more than meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
Because if we meet in the middle, then we don't bring everyone up to where we are.
We'll drag them across.
We want, but that's the hard. We were discussing it in episode 1. It's come back round straight away. That's the hard thing, is trying to get people as passionate as we are, which maybe not be possible, but hopefully with the Chronicles, and when the word gets out, and once this becomes more known and it reaches the station level, and a couple of the passionate people say, hey guys, come and watch this.
Yeah.
And like we saw when we were in San Francisco doing the first film, we were standing outside Engine 13, a couple of the guys came out, then the rest of the guys came out, and before you know it, they're all positive and all, we can't wait to see what this is going to bring, what this is going to happen.
The first comments when we walked past Station 13, just to show Mark where he was going to be working on the fire engine.
Other than who's the guy in the green suit.
Yeah, we had the cameras with us. Ted and Chris were with us, and everybody came out like, oh, what's your show about? How come you have cameras, and all this? And we started telling them, and more people would come out like, hey, I hear you guys are trying to do something different, something new, this is neat. And the more we talked about it, and this was day 1. This was the first day that we'd been together filming for this. And people were starting to notice that we were doing something different. And I think that spurred us to want to make it even better. And it really was the community that built it up and helped shape it to be what it was. Now, you work EMS as well as being a physician, correct?
Yes.
You just saw the episode.
Yes.
The pilot episode. I hope it speaks to you as an EMS provider, but does it speak to you as a physician as well?
Well, the passion you're talking about is something that I've always felt, and I do a lot of teaching too, and it's something I try to impart in my students. And it's something that unless you really have it, you're just going to do this as a job. You're going to come to work and go home.
Mhm.
But those people that are really passionate about it are the ones that will end up teaching and spreading the word. When we teach, we hear people say, oh, on TV I saw them do this. And we have to tell them it doesn't happen that way. But when they look at something like Chronicles, and they watch you treating somebody who called 911 because they want a sandwich and a bed,
Mhm.
that's the best way to explain that some of the calls are going to be like that. You can't blow that person off. You gotta help them. Maybe EMS isn't the right way to help them. It's the only way to help them right
That's all
now.
we have
At
right
the
now.
moment.
All we've got right now.
Exactly.
Until it evolves into something.
Absolutely.
And I don't think there needs to be that an extra step. It's what it needs to evolve and encompass.
Right, and the people with the passion are the people that have the compassion to do those kind of calls.
But just something you said just before, which I want to pick up. You said you've got people who are passionate and you've got people who just want to do it as a job. And when you see that, do you feel there's a way of actually getting those people to become passionate, or is it just a lost cause? Is it a case of you can't do that with everyone? We're never going to be able to make the industry how we want it with everyone as passionate as we are. Or is there a way that we can develop that and we can grow that through the Chronicles, through spreading the word with the work that we want to do?
You may be able to get it to a lot of people, but the
As long as
term
we get the
used where I
majority.
worked in Alameda County was everybody has rocks in the yard,
Mm-hmm.
and some people have more rocks than other people.
Yeah.
So every service has got their really good, passionate people, and not so good people that are just there.
Mm-hmm.
How do you bring those other people that aren't so good up? Partner them with a passionate person
Yeah.
and make them be dragged along until they decide, hey, maybe I should change the way I look at this, or think about doing something else.
And one thing you said earlier that I really liked was you said some of your students come to you and say, well, I saw them doing this on TV. Wouldn't it be nice if your students came in, did the right thing, and said, I saw them doing this on TV? That's where I'd like Chronicles to get to, whether it's me and Mark in it or not, whatever it can
Absolutely.
become. If we can get this new medium, TV, web series, whatever, that our profession has never been shown accurately. I mean,
No.
the closest they got, I think, was Emergency in the 70s when we didn't know what we were. And yet, you can go back and watch the pilot episode of Dr. Brackett giving the speech to Los Angeles County
Right.
Board of Supervisors to keep the paramedic program. You could take that speech and drag and drop it anywhere in the country today, and it still resonates.
It still works.
It does, exactly. So, with this medium, with television, and with the production quality that we're trying to give Chronicles, did you guys see something that maybe people outside of our industry would be interested in watching?
Oh, absolutely. Because it's the truth. It's not a reality
but
show
does-
of sorts, but
But
it's
is the truth interesting? Because we're somewhere between the sensational reality series of put 7 people in a house and watch them fight, and mainstream network shows that are about explosions and sex and doing things wrong. Is the public going to be interested in real?
Well, hard to say from my perspective because
Because
I'm
you're
in-
involved.
Yeah, 'cause you're in it, but-
I'm in this world.
But-
and
but
I've
what-
been
what-
in this world for
what we can
21
see,
years.
what we can see from last night is there were people in the room at the premiere last night who weren't EMS. They've come from publicists, internet entrepreneurs, businessmen, and they all laughed at the same bits that the medics laughed at. They all laughed at what's your
And-
pain score out of 10, 1,000.
Right.
And what we achieve by showing the reality is that, and what we find by writing blogs, and Natalie as well, is that we find the interesting and fun in the mundane. And it's when you go into your job with a set of eyes which is open to everything, instead of just thinking it's another drunk or it's another, and there's still things to learn and there's still connections to be made which you might not have a benefit from off that patient because they might call back, but there's still that opportunity to learn and share from the patients and from each other. And that's what I think the general public will get from seeing the reality.
I hope.
They maybe laugh.
GPS signal is weak.
Is it?
Is it?
Is it? It doesn't know where we are.
Well, that's
That's good technology,
interrupting.
though. Oh. All right.
I think where I'm going with this though was if you take that person that has the compassion and the passion to do the job, they will laugh because the guy said he has it paying him $1,000.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the other half of them saying, wow, how unfortunate. This guy has really learned how to milk the system, and he's looking for a bed and a sandwich, and that's sad. There should be something we can do for him other than taking him to the hospital.
That
Because he
meets his
doesn't
needs.
really need the hospital. He needs some kind of social intervention.
Exactly. But I don't know. I had a blast making the show.
Oh,
It looked like you guys had a great time.
As much as I realized last night talking to the people that came to the premiere, flew all the way, everybody was appreciative of what it could become and what it could turn into for our industry. But I think back on when you came to visit,
Mhm.
and it was just so much fun just working with you.
Yeah.
Just, it's not like you were a fly on the wall or just kind of sitting back, but you were there with me every time, and we got along just great.
And that's going to happen. How many times were we asked last night? We were interviewed quite a lot of different times last night, different reporters. And one of the questions I got, and you probably got as well, was, where is this going next? Who decides and who's in charge? Type thing. We said, well, there's the Chronicles team, but where this goes is the community. That's what makes us so unique. We're not a fly on the wall that goes around and watches what people do and just, this is what they're every day. We go where the community wants us to go and wants us to see, and everyone knows of various types of services that have got a unique slant to them, and that will be interesting to the whole, and that's where we'll be going. And when we go there, then there's going to be me and Justin, but there's also going to be another one or two medics who become directly part of the Chronicles team, because we're going to be working with them, and then they'll be coming back and sitting at this table with us again, and we'll be finding out from them what the issues in their services are. And every episode we go to, we're going to be getting a wider and wider and wider depth of knowledge into a whole EMS system.
I would love to see if somebody out there is in a system that has an alternative transport plan. Is there someone in the U.S. that can take someone other than an ER, somewhere other than an ER?
Well, it's down to the community to let us know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really must.
We can look for that. That's something I'm definitely interested in, and if we can film it for another episode and share that with other practitioners, that would be wonderful.
Because that, in and of itself, the change of the way we do things, because that's what the paramedic's designed to do. He's the eyes and ears of the physician. If the physician isn't a necessary tool, there's got to be another tool for him to take hold of.
That's what it might be. That's what it used to be like in the UK. We're no longer the eyes and ears of the physician in the UK. We're the eyes and ears of the paramedics. We're fully autonomous, and it's getting to the point where there's some paramedics who now run clinics in GP surgeries, primary healthcare centres, and it's becoming more of a cohesive unit with certain levels of doctors, and they're getting to the point where they're respecting what we're coming in with in our assessments and our provisional diagnosis and stuff, and it's a huge step. It's a huge step for them, and it's a huge step for the paramedics to actually start thinking like that, like a clinician. Again, we discussed in episode 1, we're not ambulance men, we're not ambulance women anymore, we're clinicians.
That was a sad part of my realization in medical training. People would constantly say to me, "You're a doctor now. Stop thinking like a paramedic." And I can't.
But why? Why would you want
That's
to
what I
stop?
said.
Why would you want to
can't
stop thinking like a
as a
paramedic?
paramedic.
We're rational people.
We are rational people, and it's something that's been ingrained in my brain for 20 years. I can't change the way I think.
So, as supporters of the Chronicles, some of the best supporters we've got,
Official fangirl.
Official
Chronicles
fangirl
of
number
EMS.
one.
Yeah.
Hey,
where should we go next? We know we're going to Baltimore in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, we will be in Baltimore.
We're going to be at EMS today as guests of Zol and sharing our experiences. But what's our next step? Where would you like to see us go?
everywhere. I want to see you everywhere.
Yeah.
I think every system is unique. Every medic has their own story. I want to see that captured. My dad works in Africa, and he comes back. He's like, oh, I saw this crew, and this is what they did. How would you do that differently? I want to see how would I do that differently? How would you guys do it differently in a different country with the language barriers, with the different protocols, with different equipment? I'd like to see this worldwide, every country.
But the challenge we have is when we're done, I don't think we'll ever be done. Maybe it's when we can't walk without sticks and stuff like that. But when we're done, we have to be able to do something with this knowledge that we have, that this experience that the community has brought together. It's going to be great for me and you. We're going to have a wealth of experience, and it's going to be phenomenal. But we have to bring something back. We have to be able to share it, which is where the community comes in, and it would be fantastic to see things change. We don't know how they're going to change yet because we don't know what we're going to experience. But we've already started slightly with myself and your service. I'm working on a paper to try and bring CPAC to the UK. Justin's working on possibly implementing parts of a rapid response model, and that's off one episode. And the bigger we get and the more influence that the Chronicles have. And I love to keep talking about me and you because it's so much bigger than me and you. It's the whole community, and I can't say that enough, But there's opportunities out there to do some real change.
Absolutely. And just looking at the chat room, the computer sitting here at the table with us, we see Philadelphia, Boston, Seattle, Phoenix, all places I would love to go to. Philadelphia, the birthplace of professional EMTs, aside from the fire service.
Phoenix is AR vans, social workers, EMTs.
Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix has always been trying new things. They had that BLS tier for a little while. Now they've got EMTs in vans. It sounds like they're very flexible.
Seattle.